She fired me with a smile so polished it almost gleamed. Not anger, not hesitation, just certainty, like she'd been rehearsing the moment for years. "We own your code, sweetheart." Her voice was sweetened poison, the kind meant to rot you from the inside. I remember the fluorescent lights humming above us, the conference room door clicking shut behind her, the smell of her perfume, something sharp, citrus, predatory. My wife stood beside her sister, arms folded, face unreadable. Or maybe unreadable was generous. It was a mask, the kind she used when she didn't want to be caught enjoying something. The CTO, the wife's sister, freshly promoted, drunk on her new authority. And my wife, silent, watching, letting it happen. I felt the world tilt, just a few degrees, just enough to make me catch my breath. Not because I cared about the job, or the money, or the building that suddenly felt too small. What cracked something inside me was the look they shared. A flicker, a private victory, a betrayal I hadn't seen coming, but should have. I kept my hands steady, my breathing even, my pulse quiet enough to hear the hum of the AC. Then I slid the folder across the table. "Actually," I said, my voice colder than I intended, "read paragraph 4. Just that. No raised tone, no theatrics." Her smile faltered before she'd even opened the cover. That was the moment everything shifted. She didn't know it yet, but the ground beneath her feet had already begun to crack. Betrayal never arrives dressed for the occasion. It shows up in fragments, misplaced confidence, poorly hidden smirks, late-night whispers behind half-closed doors. The signs had been there. I had simply been stupid enough to trust the familiar. It started with my wife's sudden fascination with protecting company interests. Her father, the CEO, calling her to family strategy dinners I wasn't invited to. The sister showing up more often, circling conversations like a hawk waiting for something to die. Then the late nights, the secretive texts, the careful, almost deliberate avoidance of eye contact. I told myself it was work, pressure, a busy season, lies dressed as logic. But the shift was too clean, too synchronized. My wife pulled away exactly as her sister pushed forward. Their father offering compliments suddenly laced with distance, politeness with a cold underside. Something was coming, I just didn't know what, until today. Being fired wasn't the betrayal, that was merely the delivery method. The real betrayal was discovering they had built a narrative, a strategic, calculated fiction, painting me as dependent, naive, some genius they could mold, use, discard. The wife who once whispered devotion now watched me like prey she'd outgrown. The sister who'd asked for help understanding my architecture now claimed intimate ownership of it. And the father, the CEO, who'd toasted my brilliance at company parties, now nodded approvingly as his daughter tried to strip everything from me. They didn't just want the code. They wanted control, complete, effortless, unchallenged control. They thought they had it. What they didn't know, what they never even considered, was that I'd seen the betrayal long before today, and I'd prepared for it. Quietly, patiently, like a surgeon preparing the incision. I learned to stop reacting months ago. Silence became my closest ally. I observed patterns, the late-night calls, whispered strategy sessions, the sister's sudden interest in reviewing contractual language she clearly didn't understand. I watched my wife become someone else entirely, a politician instead of a partner. So I did what I do best. I built quietly. A license agreement here, a silent amendment there, a buried clause written in clean, unambiguous legal language. The tech was never theirs. Not the architecture, not the core, not the updates, and certainly not the rights. They loved thinking they'd outsmarted me, loved imagining themselves as ruthless visionaries. Arrogance is useful, predictable, exploitable. I pretended to stay oblivious, smiling through board meetings, answering questions, offering suggestions, letting them think they were gradually phasing me out. Every move they made only confirmed what I already knew. They were preparing to cut me out, take everything, leave me with nothing but the shell of the empire I'd built. So I sharpened the blade they didn't see coming, and waited, calm, still, a storm in perfect silence. The sister flipped to paragraph 4. Her eyes moved, stopped, moved again, stopped longer this time. Then her expression collapsed, not dramatically, just disassembled. Her father leaned forward. "Tara, what is it?" She swallowed, hard. "Sir, he doesn't work for us." Silence. A cold, surgical silence. "He licenses the tech to us," she continued, voice cracking. "He owns the entire architecture. We don't control anything." My wife's face drained of color, the kind of pallor you only see when a person witnesses their own downfall in real time. The CEO looked at me like he was seeing me for the first time. "You planned this," he whispered. I didn't respond. I didn't need to. The truth was sitting on the table, written in their own signatures. I stood, slow and deliberate. "You didn't fire me," I said. "You dissolved your only access point." My wife's voice broke first. "You can't." But she knew I could. And I had. I closed the folder, slid it back into my hand, and offered a single, calm nod. "Good luck rebuilding," I said. The sister's eyes filled with the kind of panic that comes too late. The CEO looked 10 years older. My wife reached for me. Instinct, habit, desperation. I stepped back and walked out. Not with triumph, not with rage, just certainty. Nothing left to negotiate, nothing left to save. Outside, the air felt different, cleaner, sharp enough to breathe without choking. I didn't look back at the building that once felt like a second home. It wasn't mine anymore. Maybe it never was. They had spent months plotting a way to cut me out. I spent months letting them believe they could. That was the difference. My revenge wasn't loud. It wasn't theatrical. It was structural, foundational, permanent. They tried to take my work, my future, my identity. So I took back the one thing they never expected me to guard so carefully: control. As I walked away, a strange clarity settled in my chest, quiet, steady, unshaken. I didn't win. I simply reclaimed what was never theirs. And the final truth was brutally simple. They hadn't fired me. They had freed me.